Alright everybody, and welcome back to King's Quest 6, Here Today, Gone Tomorrow. When last we left off, we had just dealt with the druids here who tried to burn us to death, but we saved ourselves with our Make Rain spell. We were told quite a bit about the Land of the Dead, how there apparently is a means for challenge to the Lore of the Dead, if one knows the way, and there was only one person that the Archdruid knew of that had ever tried it before, but unfortunately the means for challenge was lost. We also learned that there's a way to get to the Land of the Dead, a winged horse called Nightmare, who comes to the mortal realm to feast on toxic, poisonous plants, of which we know of one, the nightshade bush on the top of the Isle of the Sacred Mountain. As you remember, we were tricked into eating berries off of that bush way back when. So let's see, what do we have in our yonder spellbook here? We have the magic paint spell, which we don't need that at the moment. But we do have this charming a creature of the night spell, and presumably Alexander's not going to be using that to charm hookers, so it must be for something like Nightmare. We need a skull full of hot oak embers, we need a bit of sulfur, brimstone, and one strand of a pure-hearted maiden's hair, you know, one of those. We need to add the brimstone into the skull of embers, and in the presence of the creature, speak the incantation over the skull. Well, we have a fire right here.
The embers from the bonfire are still smoldering despite the rain.
And let's see, what else do we have? We have a skull. We have a rotten egg, which could give us the brimstone sulfur that we need. And, well, we have this ribbon that Cosima sent us. Hopefully there's a strand of hair or two in it.
Alexander examines the red ribbon and finds a strand of long black hair.
Alright.
The strand of hair from the red ribbon is the color of midnight. Alexander can only hope that it belongs to his true love.
This is no time for masturbation, Alexander. Come on. Let's use it on ourselves.
Alexander looks with longing at the strand of long black hair. Could it be Cosima's?
Oh, I only hope that it is. Alright, well let's go ahead and get some of these embers here.
Alexander scoops up some of the red-hot embers in the ancient human skull.
Alright, now it's got this badass icon here, a black skull with fire behind its eyes.
Alexander is carrying a human skull filled with embers. The embers are glowing with heat.
Let's go ahead and get the rest of this spell prepared here. Let's crack open this egg here.
Alexander cracks the spoiled egg and dumps it into the skull containing the embers. The spoiled egg hisses as it makes contact with the hot embers. Sounds the steam. Phew, the smell of sulfur.
It smells like shit. And we have this hair. Let's go ahead and add that in there.
Alexander puts the strand of hair into the skull containing the embers and the spoiled egg.
Alright. Well, let's go ahead and hop on back to the Isle of the Sacred Mountain, and hopefully Nightmare will be making one of those visits right about now.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
And we hop on over to the Isle of the Sacred Mountain.
Alexander.
Yeah. Strange pulling sensation and all that good business. I think this is the first time we're actually going to be going back up the mountain. So fortunately, they don't have you go all the way back up the entire way up the mountain. You can just do it by getting to the top of the screen and it will finish the ascent for you. Same is true in reverse, thankfully. It's here.
Alexander arrives at the top of the cliffs, somewhat winded after his long but uneventful climb.
What's this?
A mighty winged horse, the color of midnight, is feeding from the nightshade bush. The creature must be Nightmare, the one the druids spoke about.
Hello, I'm Prince Alexander.
Calm down, girl.
Nightmare ignores Alexander.
I see. Would you be interested in this skull?
Alexander holds the skull out to Nightmare. Nightmare is unmoved by the skull, at least in its current state.
Alright, so we have to actually cast the spell over the skull. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's see, where is it? Charming creature of the night, and let's cast it. Quit masturbating.
Solemnly speaks the incantation over the skull.
Creature of night, to me succumb. Fire and brimstone leave thee numb. purity bind thee like a chain, to do whate'er I now ordain.
Tickle, tickle, tickle.
Nightmare flares her nostrils at the scent of the fire and brimstone.
That's it! Come on! I need passage to your homeland, fiery one.
It's a little bit closer.
Unable to resist the power of the enchanted smell, Nightmare approaches Alexander. Her eyes appear glassy and sightless. In her hypnotized state, she is unaware of the humans so close to her flank, or of anything at all except that marvelous smell.
Hurt!
Now ride!
Alexander falls off and dies. This is a grim-looking place.
Nightmare deposits Alexander on a strange, cold world. And some of the inhabitants don't look too friendly.
Alright, let's go ahead and make a save right quick, because it actually, funny enough, it is very easy to die in the land of the dead. Touch any of these zombies here and you'll just liquefy.
The ghoulish, animated bodies of the undead roam the haunted landscape.
Alright, we also have,
Alexander is standing on the surface of the realm of the dead. The barren, surreal landscape is cold and gray. Twisted shapes loom on the horizon.
Indeed.
The surface is haunted by the ghoulish shapes of the undead, and by the chained, tormented spirits of mortals unable to rest in peace.
We're actually about to get touched by this ghoul over here. This girl ghoul.
Restless spirits are bound to the surface of the underworld. Chained by earthly cares, they are unable to go below.
Alright,
These
well,
two spirits wander together. The spirit of a beautiful and noble-looking woman floats silently alongside that of a desperate-looking man.
I see. Well, let's say hello to these spirits. Any day now.
Who are you, grieving spirits?
I am Queen Ilaria of the land of the Green Isles.
Ah, that's who we're looking for.
And this beloved spirit is my husband, King Califam. We were murdered in our beds by our trusted Vizier.
That bastard.
Like a viper, he snuck in during the night and stabbed us in our sleep. Now my husband's soul is broken, and he will not speak.
Then you are the ones I seek. Are you not the parents of Princess Cassima?
Our daughter! Have you news of the princess?
I know that she is alive and safely back in her kingdom after being rescued from Mordak. But I'm afraid I have not personally seen her. Alhazred is keeping her in her room in mourning for you.
I am glad to hear of her return, but she will not be safe alone with that devil. Oh, that we could be there to protect her.
Cassima, how I fail thee.
My poor husband will never rest while our murder goes unavenged and our daughter is in danger.
I came to take you back with me. Your people are still loyal to you. They need to know about the Vizier. Cassima needs you too.
But this is the realm of the dead. We cannot leave it. Nor, for that matter, can you. The only one who might be able to return us all to the land of the living is the Lord of the Dead. But he would never help us. He has no mercy.
I might be able to convince him. I must try.
Then take this. It is my ticket to the Underworld. There you will find the Lord of the Dead.
I see.
I cannot use the ticket as long as I'm chained here. And if we cannot be avenged, I will never be unchained.
Thank you. Perhaps it will save us all.
Be careful, young man. If you can ease my husband's torment and help our daughter, we will be most grateful.
I will do my best. Goodbye, Queen Ilaria.
Alright, well, apparently the Vizier is even more evil than we thought. And we got this ticket here. So if our experiences in Quest for Glory 5 taught us anything, that shouldn't be too hard to get spirits back from the dead. All we gotta do is walk around. Well, hello.
The spirit of a woman hangs like a puff of smoke in the air. She is weeping and appears to be very distressed about something.
Okay, I'm actually gonna move up a little bit because it's...
Ollie! Where is my little boy? Ollie!
The bookshop owner? He's being bored.
Why do you not rest, sad spirit?
Rest? I cannot rest. My son is lost.
Lost? You mean in this realm?
No. His spirit is stuck in the land of the living, probably looking for me. But I cannot leave to go show him the way. My poor Ali.
Is there anything I can do?
Take this handkerchief. If you get back to the land of the living and find him, tell him that his mother is waiting for him here. By this kiss, he'll be able to find his way to the realm of the dead.
I see.
I'll do my best to find him.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, my Ali.
I mean, the bookshop owner's named Ali, but he's not dead. Though, he did mention the land of the dead. He's where we heard about it from. Originally, anyway. No, get away from me! Get out of here, Peggy the pirate. No one likes you. Alright, so we have this handkerchief now.
Alexander is carrying the Mother Ghost's translucent handkerchief.
Let's wipe our nose with it.
Touching the ghost handkerchief gives Alexander a strong mental impression of the Mother Ghost worriedly searching for her lost son.
Alright. Well, obviously we can't do that. Let's move on. See all the trouble we can get into. Even in the land of the dead, we're still helping everybody. That's the altruistic spirit of Sierra Games.
The skeleton to the left of the path hands something to the spirits that approach the Underworld Entrance.
Ticket, please. Next.
First of all, I want to say that I absolutely love this, because you've seen this screen several times at this point in the game, and then you go to the land of the dead and you actually come to the game over screen, which is awesome, frankly. Anyway, this is rather morbid looking.
Looming ominously at the end of the path, a hideous skull-shaped formation provides an entrance to the underworld below. Despite his terror, Alexander still feels drawn to its tendon-bound maw.
I see. Well, how are you kids doing?
A strange skeleton with a long, horse-like head and ceremonial armor stands at the base of the path to the underworld. He watches over new arrivals with a discerning eye, handing tickets to the spirits desiring admittance. A large bone keyring hangs from his waist.
So, this key is another way you can easily screw
A
yourself.
large keyring containing a skeleton key hangs from the waist of the skeleton to the left of the path.
Like, you need this key. You cannot complete the game without it. So, can I borrow this key here?
It's unlikely that the skeleton would allow Alexander to just take his key.
I see. Could I borrow that key?
Might I get one of those tickets?
We already
The
have a
skeleton
ticket,
with the
Alexander.
tickets must not approve of Alexander's less than ghostly looks. He refuses to give him a pass.
Alright, so you guys are never gonna guess how you get this key. It's the most ridiculous and yet awesome thing in the world. You see these things over here?
A group of large bones form an interesting arrangement to the right of the path. Two smaller bones are propped up on the ground near the larger group.
Alright, I hope you guys weren't getting too used to the dark atmosphere.
Alexander picks up the two bones on the ground. Now, what do these bones remind him of?
Ah, yes. Now I remember.
Then we start playing music.
The skeletons are overcome with the musical call of the bones. They begin to jiggle, then to dance.
Hey man, you can get into it too. Everybody needs to liven up a little bit, no pun intended. Don't stop looking so dead over there. Okay, I'm done. There you go, buddy. You get into it too. I mean, hey. Alright, everybody's having a little party over here. It's a regular little fiasco. And they even have their own can-can dancers. Okay, well,
Alexander finishes his tune, and the skeletons resume their posts. Despite their frolic, they don't seem any friendly.
well, everybody had a bit of fun here. So one interesting thing, the guys who made the remake of Quest for Glory 2 also made remakes of the first 3 King's Quest games, and in their remake they actually had Alexander make a spell for musical talent, and that's why he can basically play any instrument in the world, including bones in the Underworld. He took a spell, or used a spell to get his musical talent. He didn't actually work hard to become a talented musician. Anyway, this guy over here, he flung his bone, or his key over here. Let's just
Alexander
steal it.
picks up the skeleton key.
Get it? It's a skeleton key. So let's have a look at it.
The skeleton key is made out of small bones.
Do you want this back?
Alexander could return the bony key, but he might find it useful. Besides, the skeleton has plenty more bones where that came
Besides, he
from.
might have a bone to pick with us if we show him we stole his key. I mean, I'm just saying, I wouldn't want someone stealing my key, that's all I'm saying. So, we got this ticket.
I have a ticket.
Go on. Next.
Ah, well, I guess this guy didn't make it all that far. Oh god!
Apparently, Alexander's not the only one who's curious about the body on the path.
Well, this looks like a knight.
A knight's remains lie abandoned on the path. The knight, like Alexander, must have been alive when he entered the underworld, but for some reason he never reached his destination. Alexander wonders if this is the knight the druids spoke of.
He's got this little thing on his arm.
The knight is wearing an old, tattered ribbon. It must have once meant much to him as a sign of his lady's favor.
And he's got this gauntlet.
The knight is wearing one black gauntlet. There appears to be some writing on the gauntlet, but Alexander can't quite make out what it says.
Can we take the ribbon?
The ribbon is so old it would crumble at Alexander's touch.
I suppose not. Well, how about the gauntlet?
Alexander takes the knight's black gauntlet and examines the writing on it. Flesh may cross the portal and seek its master, death. Flesh may go where death is trod, and challenge, like Scheherazade, he who reigns beneath the sod, to spare a mortal's breath. Zounds, that sounds serious.
Way to ruin the moment. Well, can we talk to this guy?
Unfortunately, the knight is unable to tell Alexander his secrets.
Alright, well, sad to say he's not going to be much help. Let's get the hell on out of here. Try not to fall in the water. Ooh, this is a rather dark-looking place.
The river Styx is an ebony mass of liquid, resembling black tar or melted black glass. Despite its incredible stillness, the river seems to have a life of its own.
Now, if you recall, we actually needed some Styx water in this game as well. We can't look at it here?
The realm of the dead is a very dangerous place. There's no time for that
Well,
here.
thanks for letting players who didn't know check their references, Sierra. But we did need some Styx water. So let's go ahead and grab some from yonder river Styx here.
Alexander scoops a little of the river Styx into the teacup with the swamp ooze, being careful not to get any of the black water on his
How are
skin.
you holding an open teacup in your pants? Just saying. This is a rather grim-looking figure.
Charon stands in his boat, eternal ferryman of the dead. Alexander can't quite make out what's under Charon's cowl, and he's not sure he would want to.
So, hey, don't touch my dick, man. Hey, we don't know each other that well.
I must see the Lord of the Dead. Please, let me ride across the river Styx on the ferry.
Charon apparently has rules as strict as those of the skeletons at the Underworld's entrance. Alexander is not getting on that boat until he gives Charon the appropriate fare.
Okay, so this is another area in the game where you can actually screw yourself. If you did not have these coins, you can't progress with the game anymore. So you can try all kinds of stuff on him, and it usually has a message.
Alexander can see all he wants to see of Charon without the aid of that mirror.
You could also maybe try something like, oh, I don't know. You can try the gauntlet, that one makes sense.
I have this gauntlet. Will this get me across the river?
Charon seems unimpressed with the knight's gauntlet. Whatever the gauntlet's purpose, it apparently has nothing to do with the river Styx ferryman.
And like I said, that's one of my favorite things about King's Quest 6 is they have messages for pretty much anything you could want to try. You could probably even try the Flower of Stench.
Will this
No.
do as...
Okay, you don't have a special message for that, but obviously we need to give him these coins here.
Will these coins do as fare for passage?
Charon accepts the fare and waves Alexander onto the boat.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stretch out here. And it's gonna start getting really laggy. That's okay though, it makes it more dramatic as we float away. I'm about to call it a video here anyway. So my personal little theory here is that the knight was unable to pay the fare because he didn't have money on him, or he just didn't know about Charon's cost for passageway. So he just probably starved to death along the path. He was just emaciated in the end. That's just my personal theory, though. There's no real supporting evidence for that. But that explains why he's just there, in the middle of a pathway where there's no obvious dangers. And if you take too long on that screen, he'll just leave without you, and you're fucked. Anyway, we're almost to the realm of the dead here. We got this big old door over here.
The large wooden gate at the end of the path is closed.
Well, we're gonna go see what's beyond that gate in the next episode. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Take care of yourselves, guys.